Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining this Rock Your Blog and Biz Powwow. As you probably know, I'm Kirsten Rosetti, and I'm a web designer and a business marketing coach. And I offer these powwows as a way for you guys to get some free coaching, to share ideas, and meet other people who are also working on their businesses so that you can form some really good relationships and collaborations for the future. If you are watching the recording, because I know a lot of you aren't able to join live because of family commitments and such things. So if you're watching the recording and you weren't able to get your questions in ahead of time, you can absolutely send them to me afterwards, and I will make sure that you get answers to all of that. So today I'm going to be giving you a sort of a starter session on freebies. It is a bit of a complex subject, so we're not going to be able to cover every single thing today, but I'm hoping that today will give you enough information that if you haven't started with freebies yet, you can get started. And if you have started but you're not clear about certain things, hopefully some of what I'm going to share will address some of your questions and concerns. I did get a few questions from some of you guys ahead of time, and what I've actually done is I've incorporated my answers to your questions in the content that I'm going to share. If, however, you do feel that it wasn't quite clear or anything, just let me know. Okay, let's get going. So, firstly, when we talk about freebies, I think a lot of people joining my powwows, a lot of you guys already probably know about the opt-in freebies or the lead magnets. So something you offer for free to people who probably come to your website, and you offer it to them in exchange for their email address. But I think it's actually really important to be aware that freebies are so much more than just the opt-in freebies that are sitting behind a sign-up form. You get physical freebies, you get digital freebies, and there are so many ways that you can share them with your people, your ideal clients, your readers, your future customers. You don't always have to get something back in terms of like an email address. And sometimes it can be really great to just build some goodwill by just giving something away for free. So what I'm going to talk about today definitely does apply to lead magnets and opt-in freebies, but you can absolutely take it and think about it as it applies to, for example, if you had a local physical products-based business, how it applies to that, maybe in terms of giving out free samples of your actual product, or a free session if you're, say, a yoga teacher or something like that. All right, so why would you want to offer freebies? I get a lot of people who say, well, if I give things away for free, why would people want to buy my product? Why would people want to pay me for my service if I'm already telling them, giving them, teaching them those things for free? They can just get it there. And it is a fear I do understand. And I'm going to say right away, obviously, if you want to run a business, you can't never charge for things. You do have to charge money at some point. But there is definitely a huge value in offering freebies, and I'm going to get into a few of them because, as I said before, freebies are more than just your opt-in freebies. So I just wanted to give some ideas of how it could really help grow your business. So for example, one really great thing about freebies is it provides a good way to introduce your products or your services to people. When people see something available for free, there's going to be less risk involved. So they'll probably be more willing to give something a try. So if they've never heard of your business before, for example, it's very unlikely they're just going to straight off buy something expensive from you. But if you offer them something free, then there's less risk. And so it's a good way to kind of get people to sort of get a first feel for your business. Freebies also build trust and credibility because they give you a way to demonstrate the quality of your products. your expertise in a particular area, maybe how your service could really help them. It also is a great way to build awareness and attract attention. So for example, if you are going to be launching a new product soon, or maybe you're going to launch a new service or an online course, if you have a freebie that's related to that, it can be a great way to start generating that awareness around what you plan to sell a little bit later down the line. And obviously, if you are giving freebies to your followers, that means your potential and your existing clients, your readers. Freebies are going to help you to build good relationships with them. And obviously, if they're getting really great, valuable free stuff from you, they're going to definitely be a bit more loyal to you. So that is definitely one great benefit. You can use your freebies as a way to validate future paid offerings. So if you have an idea, for example, for an online course, you might not necessarily know for sure. Perhaps you don't have maybe a big enough email list or followers to really like run a successful survey and get, really gauge the interest that way. What you could do is you could offer freebie, a sort of free version of that course. It might be a smaller version, it might be a beta version, it just depends on your business model. But if you offer that for free, you can see, well, okay, loads of people are interested in this. So that's a good sign that if I created a paid product or a paid service around that thing that freebie was talking about, there's a high chance people are going to be interested in buying it. And at the same time, obviously, if no one signs up, that might be an indicator that your people aren't really interested in that thing. And then also, when you give your freebies away, you can ask for feedback, and you can, it gives you a way to sort of iron out the kinks before you expand on it and turn it into something paid. If you create a freebie that is branded and is something that people can refer back to again and again, that's going to be a great way as well to keep you at the top of your potential clients' minds. Because if they're constantly going back to, for example, a cheat sheet, and they see your name, your business name, your website on it, it's keeping you in their minds. And that can be really effective, because later down the road, when they think of something in relation to that, they're going to think of you first. Also, if you offer somebody a really great freebie and they enjoy it, the chances are they're probably going to know somebody else in their life who will benefit, and they're going to refer them. They're going to say, you know what, I got this really great freebie from so-and-so, you should check it out. And word of mouth marketing is one of the most powerful types of marketing, and freebies definitely support this. Also, there are studies that indicate that when you offer freebies, you increase the likelihood of future purchases. So if somebody has got something from you for free, there is a higher chance that they'll then come back and buy something from you. Also, freebies can actually make you money. Now, depending on your business niche, depending on what you do, what you offer, you could, for example, create a freebie that included an affiliate link. And when somebody then clicked on that affiliate link and made a purchase, you would then get a commission. Obviously, that's a little bit more complicated, and there are a lot of rules and terms and conditions involved in that, but it is definitely something that does work in a lot of niches. And like I said before, like most of you guys probably already know, freebies are a really great way to grow your email marketing list. Okay, so what makes a freebie enticing? Now, there are two things. I'm going to talk about what makes a freebie enticing and what makes it effective. When we think about enticing, this is thinking about it from the point of view of your ideal clients, ideal customers, the people who are going to want your freebie. So things to think about in terms of what would make it enticing. So the purpose. If you are offering a freebie that has a really desirable purpose for them, that's going to make them more interested to want it. It should be specific. Someone's not going to find a freebie enticing if they don't really know what it is or what it's going to do for them. And also, they're not going to find it enticing if what it's going to do for them, it's not something they're interested in. So your freebie needs to fulfill a want or a need that your potential customers have. It should also be something that offers a quick win. Other things that make your freebie more enticing is a really good name. So you need a specific name. It should be short and sweet and simple. A lot of people like to use fancy, cutesy, fun names, and that's okay, but you definitely don't want to use something that is so far out there that people are not going to understand what it is. I'm not going to download, a 50-hour course, or that's probably a bit excessive, but a 50-page ebook, for example, if I don't even know what it's about just by the name. I don't want to have to read all the description to figure it out. I want to know by the name. And the name should also be something that piques interest and curiosity. It should also be outcome focused. So, like 10 days to a more minimalist wardrobe or something like that. So people actually see what they're going to get out of the freebie. The description is really important. Use your customer's language. Make sure you're highlighting benefits. Don't just tell people about features. Tell people about the benefits. What kind of transformation can they expect from this freebie? Packaging, looks and feels. Now, this goes for both physical and digital. If you are offering a freebie that's, say, for example, a PDF download, make sure it looks good. It doesn't have to be like so fancy, that only a graphic designer could have created it for you. No, but it just, it needs to look good. Also, people are going to feel more interested in your freebie if it's something that's easy for them to use and to consume. So if they see something, say you're offering, like I gave that really bad example a moment ago, that 50-hour class or tutorial, for example, it may not really appeal to them because they're going to think, God, 50 hours, where am I going to find that time? Like, I want something quick, something I can learn and apply right now. Also, if it's something, say, for example, it's a physical product that you're giving out for free or to people who sign up, make sure it's something that's easy to use. It shouldn't need like a 20-page manual to figure out. And also the delivery method. So how easy is it for that person to get the freebie? How many steps do they need to take? I don't know about you guys, but like for me, if I know that I can get something for free, but I have to fill out a 30-question survey, I don't really know that I would be interested. I mean, that freebie has to be so amazing for me to go through that. Or if you're going to send somebody, let's say, an email every day for 30 days, depending on who your target market is, they might think to themselves, no, I have so much stuff in my inbox already. I can't be having another email every day. Something else would suit them better. Maybe it's an audio download that they can listen to on their way to work or something. So just think about delivery as well. That is going to make things enticing. If you're offering something great, but not in the way that people want to consume it and receive it, it's not gonna really be enticing anymore. Now, to be effective, obviously, we need all those things that make it enticing because you want someone to actually be interested in it. But to actually then also be effective, here are some other things to think about. So you really have to deliver on your promise. If you said in your freebie that this freebie is going to teach someone how to create, let's say, their Pinterest pins, at the end of that freebie, let's say it's a course on how to create beautiful pins. If at the end of that course, I haven't really learned much about actually making pins, but you've told me all this stuff about Tailwind and whatever, well, you wouldn't have delivered on your promise. And so I would feel really annoyed, and I probably wouldn't want any more of your freebies. I might even just like never return to your website again. Quick wins are always best because you want someone to get something out of your freebie, because that's what's going to make them feel really, really great about it and really positive about you. But just make sure there is something there. There really has to be a benefit. Make sure what you're giving away for free is high quality. Don't ever fall into the trap of thinking, well, I'll save all my best stuff for my customers, people who are paying me, and I'll just give away some random, lower end things for free. No, you want to be giving high quality things because, like I said before, with the benefits of offering freebies, this is going to be a lot of people's first taster. If they get a bad experience from your freebie, they're not going to want to try your paid things. So make sure it's really high quality. Again, make sure it's easy to consume. So something that they can quickly get through and it's easy for them. Also, make sure your freebie is attracting the right people. So an effective freebie will actually repel the people that you don't want to be attracting, because those people are not your ideal customers. They're never going to buy from you. You want to be attracting the people that will become customers, that will become, raving fans, people who are going to go around and actually like spread the word about your business. Effective freebies are, you can think of them as primers. So they're like a first step for your clients, for your customers. So that could be a taster session, it could be anything, but it's like the first little taste of what you have to offer. And again, it could also be something that is not exactly what you offer, but it's providing that valuable complementary support. Maybe something that will help them to do something that you actually teach about. Your freebie has to fit into your overall marketing strategy. If it doesn't, if it's totally mismatched, misaligned, it's not leading them anywhere, then it's not effective. Even if loads of people are signing up for your freebie, if you haven't incorporated that process into your overall marketing strategy, then there isn't really much point. Because if you're say you've gotten 500 people to sign up for your freebie and that's where things end, well, it's not very effective. Yes, you've got 500 people on your list, but then what? There's nothing else you can do unless you've actually got a plan in place. So once you've figured out who your ideal customers are, you have a really good idea of, what kind of problems they experience, what they want out of life, all those great things. Then you need to figure out, well, what do they want as a freebie? So here are some suggestions. There are others. If you guys have other ideas, feel free to share them as well. But here are some that I think could be really easy for you, no matter what level you're at in your business. If you already have some email subscribers, for example, if you have been building your list, or if you've got, let's say, a Facebook group that you run, and you've got some people in there already, or you've got a blog where you share content, or it could be on YouTube as well. Some of the things you can do is, just ask these guys, these people directly. Have polls, have surveys, send them emails. Ask those people who are active group members, active email subscribers. They open your emails, they click on things, they comment on your blog posts, they comment on your Instagram posts. Ask them. Don't be afraid to say, hey, I'd really love to ask you some questions, and ask them. You could put a poll up, you could contact them directly to ask them. You could even offer like a free Skype call and say, hey, would you be interested in having a 15-minute chat with me? I'd really like to talk to you a little bit about some of the things I'm planning in my business. And you'd be surprised how many people are actually really willing to do that, because it makes them feel like they're part of the creation process as well. And people enjoy that. It feels, they have a voice, and it shows that you care what they're interested in. You can also do things like keyword research. So there are lots of tools available. Ubersuggest and Suville are two. I believe they're free. And you can see, what are people searching for? And once you've discovered what they're searching for, you can think of, well, what kind of freebie could I create around that? And Pinterest is another one that's really, really great. You can look at suggested statements. YouTube is another one that's really great as well. See what people are typing in. What are people looking for? If you don't have any of this available to you, and you are just, say, right at the beginning, And all of these things just seem pretty overwhelming. Some of the other things you can do are, if you are a member of any Facebook groups where your ideal clients hang out, you can look. Be a bit of a lurker. Take a look, see what people are talking about, see what people are discussing. What kinds of problems are they sharing? What kinds of things do they say they'd really like to achieve? What kinds of things do they say they're really sick of? Now, this obviously works best when you're in groups where your ideal people already are. So if you go into a group, for example, if you are, say you are a health coach, you don't want to be doing this in a Facebook group for health coaches, right? You want to be going into groups where there are people who would be looking for a health coach at some point. It also works really well on like forums and places like that, where you can see what are people asking about. And also, don't be afraid to look at what other similar types of businesses are offering. I absolutely do not mean you want to go and copy them. No, but it gives you some sort of idea of the kinds of things that are probably working in your niche. And be critical, like look at it and think, well, okay, what about that is making it seem enticing to me? What about it seems interesting and attractive? And what would make me sign up for that if it's something you sign up for? If it's just something that's available for free, what would make me click to get that thing? What would make me take the action to get that freebie? Get inspiration. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Okay, some popular types of freebies you could offer. I've got a whole bunch here, which I'll just go through some of them. So obviously checklists are a great one for certain niches. Video series can be really great. Ebooks are another one that they used to be super, super popular, and they do still work in some niches, but they should not be the go-to freebie anymore unless you've really done your research. Email courses, audio recordings where people can like download an MP3, for example, free coaching calls, free trials, free samples. So that could even be actual physical things that you send to people or you hand out to people. And also, I just wanted to mention, like I said before, not all freebies sit behind an opt-in form. You can even think of Facebook Lives and blog posts and things like that as freebies. And in fact, I think you should, because when you can then apply what we've been talking about earlier about making it enticing, making it effective, making it part of your strategy, you can apply that all to these types of content creation as well, like your blog posts and your Facebook Lives. So I'll give you an example. One of my coaches, Sage Grayson, she does this really awesome thing. So one of the freebies she offers is behind an opt-in. You can sign up to join her clubhouse, and in her clubhouse, there's a lot of cool things. There's worksheets, there's printables, and she also does like free calls, free kind of like webinar workshops for people who are members of the clubhouse. But she also does Facebook Lives on her business page that anyone can go and join in on, where she also shares a load of great content and valuable stuff. So think about that. Like, could that be something that works in your business, something free in that way? And that can even work for people who are offering physical products, because you could get on a Facebook Live and actually show your product in action. For example, let's say you make some type of mascara. So you can actually do a Facebook Live where you talk about it, you show yourself actually putting it on things, and that could be really great because it's valuable. People are getting a sample in a way, they're getting to see it. So yeah, so think outside the box as well. As I said, don't reinvent the wheel, but also don't limit yourself. Like if you feel like everyone in your industry is offering a free email course, that doesn't mean you have to. Be creative, but just always keeping in mind who you're trying to target. All right, I did think it would be useful to also share a little bit, because I do get a lot of questions. Well, okay, I don't even know where to start. Like, how am I going to create this freebie? So without going into too much detail, I just wanted to share some ideas of some of the tools that you could use to offer a digital freebie. If you want to create things like worksheets, printables, cheat sheets, ebooks even. Some of the things you could use to do that would be programs like InDesign. Now, obviously, that has a higher price point, and it's not as user friendly. There is a steeper learning curve with InDesign, but if you know how to use InDesign, or you know someone who knows how to use InDesign, you can use InDesign to create some really great looking worksheets. But you don't need to. You can totally go free. You can use Canva. You can use Microsoft Word. You can use PowerPoint. You can use Google Docs, Keynote. Any of those types of word processing types of programs will work great. And I didn't include it on this slide, but Canva would also work great if your freebie was, for example, a screensaver or like a desktop background, something like that. You could use Canva for that too. There's so much you can do. I will say though, for Canva, it's not as easy to create a really lengthy, like say a workbook. That's if you had a workbook that was say 20 pages, it can get a bit more difficult to create in Canva, but you totally can if you feel like you want to. If you're offering something that is a document, basically, whether it's a cheat sheet or a worksheet, a workbook, any of those kinds of things, make sure you're giving it as a PDF. It's so much easier then for people because the formatting won't get messed up on another screen. It's easy to print if they need to, and it also can reduce the file size. So PDFs are the way to go. So use Microsoft Word or PowerPoint to create your awesome freebie, but then convert it into a PDF. And you can totally do that within those programs. If you wanted to create an online course, really what you can do is you can just put it all in your email marketing provider. Obviously, your email marketing provider needs to offer automation. So if your account that you're on with your provider doesn't allow automation, or your provider doesn't offer automation for some reason, you would obviously not be able to do this. But MailerLite does it. I love MailerLite. I recommend it all the time. ConvertKit is great. Mad Mimi does it. And pretty much most of the main providers, certainly all the ones I know of, they offer it. Aweber, even MailChimp if you've got the automation on. You could also go for an online platform like Thinkific or Teachable, and they do have free plans, I believe. So you could definitely set something up on there as well. It looks really great, looks really professional, and then all people need is a way to log in and get access to the content there. In Thinkific and Teachable, well, you can have text, you can have video, you can have audio, you can have all sorts of cool stuff in there. If you were creating a video or a video series, this is something that a lot of people want to create, but they think there's a lot of tech involved, or there's a lot of things that kind of put them off. Honestly, keep it simple. You could film a video just with your phone. You really don't need anything super fancy. If you have a DSLR, that's cool too. You can use that. You can even just use your webcam on your laptop. Obviously, make sure whatever you're using actually has a microphone. If you're speaking, you want people to hear you. If you need editing software, things you could consider using, so there's iMovie, Premiere Pro. You could also go with Premiere Elements, which is really a lot more affordable because it's a one-time purchase, but it does a lot of the cool stuff that Premiere Pro does, but it's just that much, a little bit simpler, and obviously you don't have to pay a monthly subscription. DaVinci Resolve is really great as well, and YouTube has an editor as well, so lots of options there. But you don't even have to edit it if you don't want to. You could literally make a video and just practice your script a few times and go for it, and then you don't have to edit at all. Lumen 5 is another program I just wanted to mention. Lumen 5 is a great a great way to create really short little videos with graphics in the background. So you don't even have to show your face, have a script, or speak. You can use Lumen 5. You can add pictures. I'll probably do a tutorial at some point on this, but if you're interested, you can obviously check it out. Really super easy. You can also create your videos using a screen recording program like ScreenFlow, Camtasia. There's a whole bunch there as well. So that works really great if you're doing a tutorial, and you could do your tutorial in PowerPoint, or it could be a tutorial basically showing you using a piece of software. And of course, just don't forget, if you are doing videos as your freebies, make sure you've got a place to host them. You don't want to be hosting them on your website. That will just slow things down, and it's just really not good practice. YouTube is one of the simplest ways. Super easy. It's free. Vimeo also has a free option, so you can host your videos there, and then basically when you share them with people who want your freebie, you just have to give them the link or redirect them, either way. And you can make your videos on YouTube and Vimeo unlisted so that people won't be able to find them unless they actually have the link. Audio downloads. You might want to do an audio download, for example, a meditation or an interview or any kind of thing like that. Audacity is a great program that you can use. It enables you to record, and you can do your editing in there as well. Like with videos, if you offer audio, make sure you've got somewhere to host your audio. Now, you could host it on something like SoundCloud, depending on the size of your MP3. Dropbox and Google Drive are also fine, and you can upload them in there, and then you can share it so that people can get access to it and download it for themselves. So those are some of the ways that you can create a digital freebie. Now, if there are any of these in particular that you feel really interested in creating, but you're not really sure how to go about it, or the tech is getting in the way for you, please do let me know, because I am planning to do a series of tutorials totally free. And if there are particular ones that you'd like me to do a tutorial on, just let me know and I'll be sure to do that. And I'll make sure you're the first person to hear about it once it's done. So you've got your freebie. Well, your freebie is not going to do you any good if nobody ever hears about it and ever knows about it, right? So you want to promote it. But where, how, what? Promotion is one of the things where a lot of people get stuck. Promotion is like super important, because you can have the most amazing freebie. If you're not promoting it and telling people about it, then it's never going to help your business. So here are some ways and places that you can promote your freebie in your social media posts. Now, what I mean by this is your social media accounts. So tell people about it on your Facebook business page. Tell people about it on your profile, like your personal profile as well. Share it on your Instagram, share it on Twitter. If you are a Snapchatter, is that a word even, Snapchatter? I'm not sure. But if you Snapchat, put it on there. If you do any kind of social media, share it. Tell people about it. Make a post. Stories are great too. Facebook stories, Instagram stories, share. Tell people, hey, there's this freebie. This is what it is. This is what this is how you get it. Put links to your freebies in your social media bios. So on your Pinterest bio, on your Instagram bio, on your Facebook bio, make sure you have that link all over the place so that people can click on it and go and get your freebie. And Facebook groups. Facebook groups, so this is obviously your groups if you have a group, but also in other groups. Now, you want to be careful in Facebook groups, obviously, because you don't want to just go around spamming people by promoting your stuff. You want it to be authentic. So, for example, if that particular Facebook group you're in isn't a type of Facebook group that allows you to promote stuff, then there's obviously not going to be any kind of dedicated thread for you to share it. Some things you could do though. One, if you think that your freebie could really be of benefit to the people in that group, you can absolutely contact the Facebook group's admin and ask. Now, sometimes they will say no, but you won't know until you ask them. So if you really think that loads of people would benefit, and it's not something that, you know, would cause a problem for the Facebook group admin or something like that, then totally ask if you can offer it. But other than that, you can also interact with people in the Facebook groups. Now, again, also with the point below that, forums and other online groups. So, you know, places like Reddit and anywhere, any other kinds of groups that you might be in. You know, if you are interacting with people, answering questions, there is possibly going to come a time where you're going to come across people who would benefit from your freebie. And then it's a really natural, organic way to say, well, you know what, I've got this freebie. I can totally send a link to you, or if you go to this page, you can get it, or whatever. So, you know, there's lots of different ways you can use these groups. But the key is obviously don't be spammy, and don't do it just for promotion's sake. Be a helpful, supportive member of that group, and you will be able to find opportunities, even if that group doesn't actually allow promotion in a typical way. You can also do paid advertising on Facebook, on Instagram. You could promote pins as well. Twitter has advertising as well. So you can definitely try paid social media advertising. And you definitely actually benefit, I would say, by offering, for example, on a Facebook ad, by offering a freebie, let's say in exchange for an email address, you often get a much better return on investment than if your Facebook ad was leading to a paid offering. There is actually a great case for spending a bit of money to promote a freebie. Traditional advertising, so many people these days, especially in the online world, forget about it, but it might be something that works really well for your business. So advertising in print media, in a local newspaper, in a local magazine, flyers, leaflets, also included in this. Going to places where you can, like, you know, put up a little, like a bowl of, like, you know, samples or something like that. Pinterest is a great one. Create some really attractive pins that promote your freebie. Your blog posts are another place. So make sure you're talking about it in a blog post. Mention it, lead people to it with a link or a sign-up form. And if it is your blog post that are the freebies, well, again, use all these other ways to promote them. You know, you want to get eyes on your freebies. If you do, and I do recommend doing guest posts, guest blog posts and things like that, or guest interviews, if it's, say, for example, on a podcast or something like that, you can put your link to your freebies in your bios. Often they will allow that. So make sure you're leading people to a freebie. You can also get a lot more eyeballs on your freebie and get a lot more people interested in it by making it easy for other people to share. So have social share buttons. Ask people, hey, if you really love this, tweet this link to share it out, or share it on Facebook, or click this thing to pin it, or whatever. Make it easy, and don't be afraid to ask people. Also, influencers, you can connect with influencers. So people who you know have a following, and you know their following would benefit from something you're offering, a freebie you're offering, you can reach out to them. Sometimes it's going to be easier, sometimes not so easy. It always helps if you've already started building a relationship with them. So, for example, if you are a wedding photographer, you know, think of other businesses serving your market, people who make wedding cakes, the people like an event planner, all these kinds of things. Find those businesses and see if, you know, build relationships with them, so that when you've got all these freebies to offer, they'll help promote it for you. They'll tell their people about it, and their people are your people. So it really works well. And real life, guys, real life. Don't be afraid to start up conversations to tell people in real life about your freebies. Don't be afraid to put yourself in situations where you can give out your freebie. So, for example, going to a little a market where you can actually have a little booth and hand out free samples of something, or a networking event where you can talk to people and you can, when it's appropriate, fit into the conversation. Well, I have this free tutorial on setting up Google Analytics, and, you know, you can just check it out here. Like, put yourself in situations in real life where you can share that information as well, so that people will hear about your freebie and they'll go check it out. If you have a suit, if your freebie is the kind that you could carry some freebies with you wherever you go, you might come across someone that you can say, oh, here, try a freebie. Obviously, you don't want to just be pushing them on everyone. You really have to be strategic about that, but it can work really well. And it's something we do sometimes forget about. Okay, so to end things off, I thought, just to get the juices flowing, if you're sitting watching through all of this thinking, this is all great, but I really don't know what to offer. Obviously, there are so many business niches out there, and it's impossible for me to give you examples for every single one. But if you have a niche that you want to ask me about in particular, what kind of freebies might work or whatever, feel free to let me know. Here's just some examples. If you were a life coach, for example, you could offer some type of downloadable journal prompts, or it could be journal prompts that are sent to your email address or through an app or something like that. It could be offering a free coaching session as a taster. If you're a yoga instructor, again, a free session could work really well. A free meditation MP3 might work really well too, because meditation and yoga are so interlinked, and people who are interested in yoga there's a very high chance they'd be interested in a meditation as well. If you were a food blogger, for example, recipes work well, meal planners, substitution cheat sheets. Now, obviously, bear in mind, these are just general ideas. As I said before, you really have to do your research and really get into your ideal clients' heads about what you create. Fashion bloggers, for example, you might have a PDF download of 10 items you've got to have in your wardrobe. You can make it more specific, like 10 items you've got to have this winter season, something like that. It could be something about, it could be a workbook, or it could be a video that you could tell people or teach people how to find their signature color, or how to dress for their body shape. Authors, if you are an author and so your business is all about basically you write books that you then want to sell, what could you do as a freebie? Well, you could offer a free sample or free preview of the next book. Something that works really great, and this could work for fiction or nonfiction, a quiz. Say it's fiction, it could be like, what character from this book are you? For nonfiction as well, Gretchen Rubin has a quiz where you can find out what you are. Are you a rebel? Are you an upholder? Are you a questioner? Are you an obliger? And you find out what you are, and then you get all this information and ideas about what you can then do with that. If you're a bakery now, whether you're online or you run an actual physical store, you could offer a discount. You could offer free samples. So if you had an actual storefront, you could actually have in your store, in front of your store, free samples, or maybe at a market or some other venue where you could put your free samples. You could offer the discounts. You could even do baking classes around Christmas time, but it could also be like a baking class online, but you can teach them one thing that they can make. That could be a great freebie. You could also have like a downloadable cheat sheet, or like you could have them in your store where people can just grab it, and it's a cheat sheet on how to keep your bread fresh for longer. The main thing is figuring out, like, getting into your ideal clients' heads, obviously, and then also experimenting. Don't be afraid to experiment. Don't be afraid to fail. You will have times where your freebies flop. And that's okay, because you can learn from them. They don't always flop because what you're offering isn't good either. Remember that. Sometimes it's just because you haven't promoted it. Sometimes it's because you just need to tweak the name slightly. But it's always a learning experience. Okay, if you have any questions, don't be shy. Send me any questions you have. We're going to be doing these powwows a lot more frequently. So I do hope that you guys will be able to join. If you got any feedback or anything from me as well, I'm always open to that. I want these powwows to be super useful for you guys. And obviously, if you give me feedback, good or bad, it's going to help, because it's going to help me to make things better and more in the way that you want them. All right, guys. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.